Imagine this. You're wandering through a labyrinth on the streets of modern-day Alexandria, Egypt. It's a city with a history of mythical proportions that extends back in time 2,356 years, all the way back to 331 BCE, the time of Alexander the Great. Today, the city is more alive than ever. Your senses are overloaded. The air is thick with diesel fumes and sea salt. Car horns are wailing. People are shuffling and shouting. The city has a pulse. But underneath your feet is a graveyard of empires. Beneath you lies a city layered like a palimpsest.
A what?
Palimpsest? Oh my god, you called me out because I've never said this word out loud. Okay.
What is a palimpsest?
I don't know what it is either.
Aly doesn't know either? Wow.
No.
This has got to be like an award for me then. This is the first time that I know a word Aly doesn't know. It's when...
Can I open my eyes?
Yes, for a moment.
Okay.
And then we'll close
okay, okay.
It's like when a piece of paper, like an ancient scroll, has script on it, and then you like erase some of that, or you write in the corners like more information on top of it. It's essentially like an analogy for repurposing something. Kind of like okay, imagine people sometimes say that the Bible is a palimpsest because they say like, oh, it was like ancient text and then maybe someone came in and like wrote more shit in there that like wasn't originally in there, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Like, so it's like when you have an editor, you write something, your editor comes in and changes it. Is that what you're saying?
But if the editor just wrote on top of what you already wrote.
Oh, okay, so layers.
Yeah, so it's like a really like a literary device I'm trying to use, and maybe I just got too deep with it. Okay, you're fucking in a city that's old as shit, and underneath you are fucking older cities that are like covered with dirt, and it's old.
Okay, fun.
Got it? Okay.
Okay.
Now we're back. Roman columns buried under Byzantine bricks, medieval mosques rising over forgotten catacombs. Here lies the bones of restless kingdoms stacked one on top of another. But 2,300 years ago, the city of Alexandria was brand new, shining on the Mediterranean coast. Her marble streets gleamed in the Egyptian sun. Torches flickered at twilight. Sailors docked their ships beneath a towering pharaoh's lighthouse, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, its beacons slicing through the night. The city was full of light. Crowds jostled through the royal quarter, past gilded temples and palaces where philosophers argued, merchants haggled, and priests chanted prayers to gods both Greek and Egyptian. And at the very heart of this glittering city, her most precious artifact, the tomb of Alexander himself. Pilgrims streamed toward it from every corner of the empire, some weeping, some kneeling, all here to look upon the preserved body of a man they called a god. It's told that Julius Caesar wept in awe before Alexander's corpse. They say Caligula even stole Alexander's armor, convinced he could steal his aura of invincibility. For centuries, the city was lit from within by phantoms of the most famous ruler in history's contributions. Alexander's tomb was the sacred centerpiece of Alexandria. His tomb was made not for a man, but for a god. Legends say he was buried in a golden sarcophagus, surrounded by unimaginable treasures, armor that gleamed like firelight, offerings fit for a god, and the honey-slicked body of the conqueror himself. Until it vanished. And today, somewhere under all of that chaos of kingdoms past, sealed away in darkness, is rumored to lie the missing corpse of Alexander the Great. Not just a king, but the king. The man who conquered the known world before the age of 30. Some say his ghost still stalks the hidden passageways beneath the city, furious that his resting place was stolen. Others whisper that the tomb has already been found. and then was quietly reburied and sealed back up because the world wasn't ready to face the curse that lay buried inside. Today, we are talking about the biggest archaeological where the fuck is it in history, Alexander the Great's cursed tomb and hidden treasure. Welcome back to Let's Get Haunted
with your host,
Nat Strawn
and Aly.
Welcome back, Haunties, to episode 238 of Let's Get Haunted. We are your ghost hosts, and we have a very, very special guest with us today. Please welcome Roz Hernandez, comedian, writer, and performer based in Los Angeles. You might know her from Hulu's Living for the Dead with Kristen Stewart, or her hit comedy podcast, Ghosted, and Apple Podcast Pick of the Month. She was also featured in Netflix's Outstanding, A Comedy Revolution, named one of Vulture's Comedians You Should and Will Know, and toured as the opener for Bob the Drag Queen. Roz has performed comedy around the world and is now the host of Tickled to Death, a brand new horror comedy game show from Realm and Paramount, where she puts guests through spooky trivia, improv, and ridiculous challenges. Welcome, Roz, to the show. We're so stoked to have you, Roz.
Hi, Haunties.
You might be the most accomplished guest, definitely top 5 most accomplished guest we've ever had on the show. So it's a delight to have you here. Thank you for stooping down to our level and joining the Haunties
I'm
in
nervous.
the muck.
Oh my God, I'm honored. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Okay, so I have to ask, and I'm sure everyone is wondering, how about that paranormal life are you, Roz? Like, are you a skeptic? Do you believe in ghosts? Have you been, have you met with a ghost in the evening? Have you guys been on a date? Like, how intimate with the paranormal are you?
Well, honestly, I am just some dumb bitch. I'm a comedian, and years ago, I guess it was 2018, I wanted to do a podcast about something. And then I was like, oh, I like talking about ghosts. And so I started doing that, and I started having like famous friends come on, or I don't know, just different queer people. I'm very about like the LGBT and straight ladies with bangs community is very much my world, which is a state of mind. You don't have to have bangs to be a straight lady with bangs.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of feeling like, okay, we need more representation of that for the ghost world. Then I started getting really into it, and then people started asking me to do more things within the ghost hunting world, and I was kind of like, okay, like I'm just learning as I go. But I started having like a lot of sort of experts, professionals in the field, all these kinds of people I started meeting, and then I would learn more and more, and then I started reading a bunch of books about it, and so in a way, I kind of feel like I'm a little bit of an expert when it comes to just cases that have happened in the past or theories that people have. But I don't really think that anyone can be an expert on the unknown in terms of like, I'll tell you all the answers. Like, I'm kind of opposed to that. But anyway, yeah, so then I got asked to do a TV show, and so I did that, and now I have a YouTube channel where I go to haunted hotel rooms called Roz Hernandez, the Haunted Doll.
Would you like us to stop trying to talk to you? Because we can, but like I spent like $300 just so I could talk to you. That's how lonely I am.
And so I spend a lot of time in this ghost world for someone that's just decided to start a podcast one day.
I actually love that.
thank you for shouting out straight women with bangs. As a straight woman with bangs, Nat is queer. I am not. I'm probably the straightest person on earth, if I had to guess. But I do agree, there's something about bangs that's a canon event in every woman's life, I feel like. And even if you don't have bangs, but you are a straight woman, it's a state of mind. It's like, okay, I've been wronged, because changing your hairstyle is like you're going through something deep when that happens, at least for me. And so, I love that you've given a shout out.
It gives you a little bit of mystery naturally, because it's like, what's under that forehead? She could be hiding anything under there.
It's big.
So I think that there's like certainly a type of person that's got a little bit of mystery to them and is intrigued by things that are a little bit strange or different, or I don't know.
It's
me and
like
my
the bangs
theories
are like a kooky. Like I feel like I get bangs when I'm feeling, little kooky, and then they grow out and then I get them back again. Yeah.
And I think whether you have them or not, we've all been bangs at one point or another.
So there's like a parallel then between how short your bangs are and how likely you are to believe in ghosts. Would you say?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. I absolutely love that. Okay, well, I'm so glad that you're just a dumb bitch, because I am just also a dumb bitch. And as I was writing this episode today, I was like, you know what? I'm going to like go out on a limb and I'm going to like research something that not a lot of people talk about. The internet was like consistently like, stop there, this is not paranormal. And I was like, no, it is though. Like, it's going to be paranormal. So feel free to interrupt me as I'm talking and, just insert your opinions. Look, to me, history is a little subjective, because it's like a historian can say, oh, this is what happened. It's like, who the fuck is going to say no? Like the dead person is going to be like, actually, that's not true, So it's like, I feel like I'm bending the lines with like history, which sometimes gets people angry. So
what are we talking about?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked. Let me read my little hook. This is what I'm famous for. We're all gonna close our eyes and imagine as I read you this sultry little intro I wrote. Okay. Hey guys, it's Nat. This is where the hook that I already read from the beginning of the episode goes. I know, we do it out of order and it's crazy. So pretend like you just heard it, because that's what happened.
Wow, that was beautiful, Nat.
Thanks.
I loved that.
Thank
Now,
you.
for anyone new who might be tuning in for the very first time, and for Roz, since this is your first time on LGH, just want to explain to you that I am along for the ride with you as well, and with the audience as well, because I do not know what Nat has researched and prepared for us today. So this is a genuine reaction. That was very beautiful, Nat. I really felt like I was there. I felt like I could smell honey slicked bodies.
Yeah.
Maybe some ancient mud wrestling or something going on. I'm not quite sure why he was slicked in honey, but I like it.
Yeah.
I think it was provocative, and I'm ready to learn about this. So it sounds like everybody thought this guy was a god, and if history is any indication, the gods always end up dying. These rulers that everyone thinks is deity ends up dying, and it kind of shatters that illusion. And now they've got to figure out what to do next. How do we bury this person? Why did they die? Are they coming back, perhaps? And so I'm ready. I'm ready to learn about this.
So, Roz, Aly, do you guys know about this legend? Do you know about Alexander the Great? What do we know?
The one thing I do know about him is that his horse was famous. And I only bring this up because Nat is an equestrian, a professional equestrian. And so I feel like you probably stumbled across this in your research, where his horse, I forget the horse's name, it was something crazy in Greek, like Bakalaphatus or something. And this horse allegedly could not be tamed until Alexander broke him. And that was like a big part of his lore.
I
Oh
did
my God.
actually.
One time on my podcast, we covered a horse that used to make predictions, and people would like go to this horse for like their psychic predictions, and it's the funniest thing ever.
Oh
Was
my
the horse
God.
right?
No, not always. And
Well, how
but
did
you know
it-
what? Human psychics are not always right either. So
How did it predict?
it had like a machine of some sort. Wait, I'm trying to Google. I'm just typing in horse psychic.
Okay, that is insane, and I love that.
Lady Wonder was the name of the horse.
Oh my God.
That's
Lady
amazing.
Wonder, the psychic.
That's incredible. Kind of obsessed with that. Also, as a horse girl, I have to mention, I do feel like horses have like a weird sort of psychic connection. Like they communicate, right, in ways that we don't understand, and they're very strange to me. And so I could see one being psychic, but
Oh, I'd believe a horse over a human any day.
okay, I'm sharing my screen. Here is a artistic rendering.
Yeah, I mean, he
looks
this
hot there.
artist rendering
Oh.
looks attractive.
He is
He looks
fine
hot
as hell.
Okay, look at this though. Like this is someone reconstructed him. He's kind of fine, but also kind of looks like Jesus and Logan Paul. So I don't know.
It's fine with me. I don't mind.
I'm not a big blonde. I think because I am blonde, I'm not super into blonde boys, but I do like his nose. I really like the strong bridges that kind of come up a little bit, like maybe a little bit of a hump. I think it adds a lot of personality.
Yeah.
He looks confident. He looks powerful, confident, ready to take charge, like he's never had a doubt in his mind ever once in his life. And so I can see why this would be a very compelling leader.
This is also not relevant, but why the fuck not? Because we're already talking shit. He was also either super, like, they say he was bisexual, but that wasn't a really big deal for the Greeks because they were kind of fluid in their own way. But some sources say that he was, like, didn't care for sex. And I don't know if that means, like, is that a way of saying, what's it called when you can't get a boner? I forget what it's called.
Impotent?
Yes.
Impotent.
Yeah, like I didn't know if they were saying he was impotent or like he just wasn't interested in the people around him. Because his mom was kind of fucking weird, and she, I guess, got him a prostitute once, and she got like the quote unquote hottest one, and he was quote unquote uninterested. And so I don't know if that means he was literally not interested.
I
or
could change him. He didn't meet me.
If my mom brought me a prostitute I'm assuming he was like a teenager at the time, I think I would also say that I wasn't interested because that seems weird. And I know the Greeks weren't as hung up as we are in our puritanic culture in the US, but I don't know. I don't, that doesn't read to me like this is a person not interested in sex. That reads to me like that was a strange situation that he rejected.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Nat. If there is one thing you take away from this podcast, other than that the paranormal is very real, it's also that you should have a BLISSY silk pillowcase. See my hair? It literally looks so luscious right now. That's because I sleep on a BLISSY silk pillowcase. You guys, I literally don't sleep. Like, I am a vampire. I probably get a combined total of like 4 to 5 hours of sleep per evening, and I look fantastic. My hair is silky soft, my skin is bouncier than your mom's ass, and my spirit is harder than your dad's. If you start sleeping on a BLISSY silk pillowcase, you're gonna see healthier skin and hair in just weeks, maybe even minutes. It's better than satin. Guys, satin is synthetic. And look, I'm a fake bitch, but I'm here to tell you that being fake isn't always in your best interest, especially when it comes to your skin and hair. Because silk has anti-aging properties, it's going to reduce fine lines and wrinkles over time. It also eliminates frizz, and it's going to preserve hairstyles. That means if you blow out your hair one day, it's going to look so good 2 days later that you're going to get your back blown out. Because silk has naturally hydrating fiber, which is going to keep your skin moisturized all night. It's also antibacterial and hypoallergenic, naturally cooling and breathable, and also easy to care for, machine washable. Hello. There are over 99 colors, including collabs with your favorites like Wicked and Harry Potter, and now you can get it at Target. But because you're a listener, BLISSY is offering 60 nights risk-free plus an additional 30% off when you shop at blissy.com/LGHpod. That's BLISSY.com/LGHpod and use code LGHpod to get an additional 30% off. Your skin and hair will thank you. And now back to getting haunted. His mom was a straight freak, though, I think. Like, have you guys seen Alexander from 2004? It's the movie that had Angelina Jolie in it as Alexander's mom. And she's, like, playing with all of these, like, snakes and shit. Okay, so moving on to the next topic here, he was rumored to be like have some sort of supernatural power because his military campaigns were so bold. Some people were like, oh shit, like he's taking an army and doing all of these crazy maneuvers that no one should do. He must have like a supernatural power behind him. You know, he's crossed all these rivers that were uncrossable. He marched troops through deserts where armies should have died. He, you know, seems too reckless. I think he's convening with dark sources or convening with some sort of godlike power that we just can't understand. But also his mom, I guess, was like rumored to be supernatural. His mom's name was Olympias. She told her son that his birth was a virgin birth and that she would had actually been impregnated by Zeus. According to the story, the night before she consummated her marriage to his father, she dreamt that she was struck by a thunderbolt and there was like this huge fire that was started. And then the night that Alexander was actually born, there was this super bright star that was gleaming over Macedonia. And during the night, the temple of Artemis caught on fire and was destroyed. And so people were like, wait, was that the fire that Olympias had dreamt of? Plutarch said about it, he was like, yeah, basically the goddess of the temple was out assisting Olympias with the birth of Alexander, and so she wasn't in her temple and it got caught on fire. People are like, okay, this makes too much sense, and obviously that's what happened.
Yeah,
These
coincidence?
people are drama. These people, I love it.
Also, Olympias was said to have been found sleeping next to a snake, which could have been the manifestation of God, or it could have meant that she was a sorcerer. So rumor had it that she was a member of this very enthusiastic snake worshipping cult of Dionysus or Bacchus. And Dionysus and Bacchus are the god that's like the god of wine and like orgies and sex, debauchery, etc., like dancing, just like losing your inhibitions. So she was a part of that cult. And I guess they were also like handling snakes. Now, I couldn't find if there was like a sexual thing with the snakes. I didn't see that. I just saw a lot of.
She get freaky deaky with a snake.
I don't know. Like, why was she sleeping next to it? Like,
Is that his dad a snake?
I don't know.
Well, if they think that Zeus came to Earth, Zeus takes on the form of an animal usually, right? I think, wasn't there something from mythology where he comes down and he takes the form of a stag and seduces somebody, and then that offspring was like real sad about it or something. And so, yeah, maybe it does make sense that the rumors would be that this was a divine son that she had because she's getting, I don't know, she's getting freaky with the snakes. But I also wonder too, is it just that she had a pet snake but everyone thought it was weird and so they started rumors?
No, she was like really about snakes and she was like petting them and handling them all the time. And there was a smear campaign against her also because in general, I feel like there's always a smear campaign against powerful women. So some people are like, all of this snake talk was seen then as it is today as sort of unsettling. And so maybe it was like a smear campaign against her and then she just leaned into it. Or maybe it wasn't, but she was kind of painted as power hungry. And some people even think that she poisoned her own husband, the father of Alexander, so that he could get into power. Yeah, like she sent her son prostitutes, etc., like that. It was very weird. Also, supposedly while the king was gone or died or whatever, she, oh my God, I hate this part. She, Olympias, like went to the grieving widow of her ex-husband, I guess you could say, and she had an infant, and Olympias roasted the infant in front of the mother, like forced her to watch, and then she gave the widowed mother 3 gifts, and the gifts were a rope, a dagger, and poison, as if to say, hey, choose the way that you would like to take your own life, which is very fucked up. I don't know what to do with that information. Like, that can't be real. Were people really like that?
That sounds, again, I'm just going to choose to believe it was propaganda because they were trying to keep a powerful woman down. That seems very strange. I don't know what to make of that either, but it definitely says that people didn't like her at all. That the 2 stories that are most famous are about how she had sex with a snake and roasted a child.
Now, do the two of you, are you snake ladies? Do you like snakes?
I like snakes.
I haven't had one as a pet, but my next door neighbor was this girl who was super into snakes. She had like tanks of them, and when she went out of town, I would take care of them, and I did kind of like how they felt when you're holding them. I don't know, it's like a fucking fidget spinner, but it's alive. Like, there is something about it. What do you think, Roz?
I hate them.
You hate them?
I hate them so much. But I've known many snake ladies in my life. Naturally, when you're in the Ladies with Bangs community, you'll find snake ladies, and all I'm saying is this all tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I work on a farm, and so every once in a while there will be snakes afoot, and we try to maintain our distance, and we do like lots of trainings on how actually it's good that there's a snake. Just don't touch it. It's actually totally fine there's a snake. Actually, it's good for the environment. But yeah, when you're not expecting to see a snake and then you stumble across one, I think the vibe is much different than when you know you're going to be babysitting a snake.
I am so, to me, snakes are 1,000% more scary than ghosts.
Really?
Oh my God. If I'm feeling like I need to be spooked, I go to TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and I start watching videos of pythons and rattlesnakes. It scares me so much.
Interesting.
Okay, so then this episode is going to have an extra layer of spookiness for you. Also, snakes are, I guess, seen as like, yeah, embodiments of God, like from the ancient times, and seen as like a symbol of birth and death. They have like mystical powers. So this is a picture, obviously, of Angelina Jolie, but she was cast as Olympias because Olympias was said to be very beautiful. And so this is her from this movie, Alexander. So I believe it. I think Angelina Jolie looks like she was probably her, because the only other picture
Now, how
I
did
have...
women get volume in their hair back then? That's what I want
Great
to know.
question.
Because she's got a lot there.
This is another picture of her from a coin, and it's like a gold coin of her. So,
Okay,
she's
not
pretty.
necessarily Angelina, but,
yeah.
you know, a lady.
She
got
has
some
thick
lips.
eyebrows, it looks like. I like that.
There's some lips on her.
Uh.
She's got a little Angelina going on. But there's not a whole lot of surviving pictures of her. So we kind of just have to go by. But I'm assuming she was like super beautiful, because why else would you allow this crazy bitch like in your kingdom? You know, she's
Oh,
like
yeah,
roasting babies.
She was able to get away with some bullshit.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
privilege for sure.
So she was basically, I guess, like feeding into Alexander's belief that he was a demigod. Like, she was like, yeah, I know for sure. Your dad's not your dad. I fucked Zeus. And so perhaps being fueled by a lifetime of being told that he was a demigod, Alexander went on several campaigns, and he was often searching for paranormal confirmation of his past, present, and future. For example, he went to this place called the Oracle of Delphi, and at this place, the priestess was said to be in quote unquote religious seclusion. Like, you're not supposed to talk to her. She's like doing her religious stuff. But he was like, fuck that. So he broke into her lodgings, took her out, dragged her into the shrine, and was like, do your haunted shit. And I guess her like thing she told him, like her oracle, was, she said, you are invincible to him. Now, have you guys heard of the Oracle of Delphi? Shit is crazy.
I have not.
I
Okay.
have, but I know there were a couple of different oracles in the ancient world. And the thing that really sticks out to me, and I don't know if it was this one or not, is in middle school, I had a teacher that talked about the oracles and how I guess there was somebody that everybody at the time thought was psychic, and people would do pilgrimages to her and visit her and ask her all sorts of questions, ask for healing, ask for knowledge, ask for advice. And the modern skeptic perspective is that I guess the location where you could find her was on a vent of toxic gas, and that's literally where she would sit all day. And so people think she was just really high and hallucinating.
I've heard that too. Okay, here is a picture of how the oracle would do her thing. So basically, they would get like a big cauldron and put it over a like it was full of stuff, and they would put it over this like vent steam thing. She would sit on top of it. All the steam would literally go up her vag. And it would, over time, you know, her hair would become all crazy because it's like hot, and her face would get all bloated, and she would start sweating, and then she would become entranced and just start saying whatever the fuck came to her mind. And so I guess she told Alexander the Great, like, you are invincible. But is this just like, I don't know, like maybe these girls were just horny. Like they're like, this is a hot guy. He just dragged me in here. Like, this is
all these people were horny as hell. Except for him, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. He was not interested, which is
but
such
you
a
have
powerful...
to, like, keep in mind, like, in these ancient times, there's so many things like, oh, an orgasm is being possessed by the devil. Like, these people did not know anything. They lived until they were, like, 14 and a half. They just made up their silly little stories.
Okay, so he went to this other place. It was a different oracle. It was called the Oracle of SIWA, which was in Egypt. And
SIWA?
I guess SIWA, like JoJo. Yeah.
Stop.
I know.
Wait, really? Is it even spelled like that?
SIWA. The Oracle.
Oh
You're
my
kidding
God.
me. The Oracle of SIWA was briefly a lesbian. No longer.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Oracle of Jojo Siwa, he marched his troops like through the fucking desert to get there, because it's, I guess Siwa is like, what is it called? An oasis. It's like in the middle of the desert, and then there's like an oasis city that has water and stuff. But he marched all these troops through there to get to this oracle because he was insane, and they, like, a lot of them did not have a good time, you know, passed away, etc., etc. I'm going to show you guys some pictures of this place because it still exists, and I actually am like, I really want to go to these places because I feel like they're kind of haunted, you know.
And this is in the middle of the desert.
Middle of the desert, and then there's just a town there. Here's a better picture. I feel like this is like the Looney Tunes version picture. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
This is like when you think of an oasis, this is what you think of, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. That, I don't know why it made me laugh to just imagine some guy really, really wants to see a high person in the middle of the desert, like really wants to get to Burning Man, essentially, and is like, I am going to gather all of my troops, and I don't care if they die, we're just going to keep marching. That's how important this is to me.
Yeah, and the best part about this is when he got to the oracle, I guess the person who was there, because this is in Egypt, they didn't speak very good Greek. They had like a really thick accent, and they greeted him. They said, "Oh, child of God," and he took that to mean that he was literally a child of God, like Zeus' son, I guess.
I got you. Lost in translation.
Lost in translation, or not, or he's this, you know, a demigod, and that's it.
True.
Yeah.
Those are the only two options.
So some traditions say that he came away from these oracles also with like otherworldly wisdom, and he was given a prophecy and maybe got even more haunted. Like maybe he got more supernatural powers. There's no way to know. So I feel like we just have to assume that he did. Supposedly went to India and like saw a giant snake. Have you guys heard of this one?
No.
Okay. So he went to India, and as his army was marching through this like little town village, I guess you could say, the villagers had this serpent that they were worshiping, and apparently when he like and his troops walked past the cave where the serpent was, they were trying to be quiet, like trying not to wake it up because it was sacred, but the snake woke up, and all they could see from the cave was 105 feet of a snake that slithered through the cave, and that was all they could see, so it might have been even longer. But some people think that was perhaps a cryptid that he saw and called on. So then the last one, Aly might be excited by this. He went searching for a Yeti.
I love Yetis. I love Yeti. I love Bigfoot. Yes, I am already excited. So he went searching for a Yeti. So even back then, there was lore about the Yeti?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the part that is not great. So apparently, as he was searching for the Yeti, he found a Yeti, I guess, village, you could say, but it's unclear if it was like actually Yetis or if it were just like Indian men who were kind of hairy. Because, yeah, the story about it was they approached from the water and they saw the Yetis. They looked like men who were shorter and had claws and, you know, were hairy, had hair covering all over their bodies. And they struck some of them down with arrows and swords and knives, and then later it turned out that they were actually just people.
Yeah, that wasn't no Yeti.
Yeah, they were kind of...
Yeah, in order for me to believe it was a Yeti, it needs to be... First of all, I don't think that there would be an entire village of Yetis. I think the Yeti is much more elusive and, you know, magical. And I just feel like the Yetis shapeshift and they are constantly on top of Mount Everest, and then nope, now they're not there anymore, and now they're in a jungle. So I can't imagine you would just randomly come upon an entire civilization of Yetis. So I don't believe it. Yeah.
The legend was that he was going through this town and heard that there were Yetis there, and so he asked the locals. He was like, "Hey, I really want a Yeti," and they were like, "Well, they don't come down this low, like, of altitude. They live higher up on the mountain." And he was like, "Okay, well, can you go capture one for me?" Because they were also called satyrs or wild men of the snow, translated. And so he was like, "Just capture one and bring it to me." But they wouldn't do it because they also like revere the animal or revere the quote unquote Yeti as being sacred. And so he went out on his own to try to find it. And then that's when he had like this battle with multiple Yetis that kind of just sounded like he got into a fight with some local people that he had never seen before.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. It seems like he tried to make it sound a lot cooler than it was. It sounds like something really embarrassing actually happened to him, which is he stumbled upon a village of people that like kicked his ass. And so when he was coming back down, he was like, no, you guys don't understand. It was actually a really epic battle between me and a bunch of mythological creatures. And everyone's like, okay, Alexander, whatever you say.
That's what all
Yeah.
this shit is.
Yeah.
Literally
Yeah.
all of this back in the day. There was no fact checking.
Mhm.
There was none of that. They were just like, yeah, this thing happened. It was wild. And then people were like, okay, that's what he said. Let's tell people that for thousands of years.
Roz, do you think if you went and like to the Oracle of Delphi or like any of those places, do you feel like there was any truth to maybe what these people were saying, or do you think that they were just like high?
I mean, I have so many thoughts about fortune tellers and psychics and all of that. I definitely believe that there's people that have that ability. I always say it's like sense of humor. I think everybody, for the most part, kind of has a sense of humor, but some of us can make a living off of it. Some of us only sometimes will say something kind of funny once in their lifetime, whatever. So but I think once you start charging people or you start being known as someone that does it for a living, the pressure's on, and it's not reasonable to believe that you're always going to be right or you're always going to be funny or whatever. So, I'm very skeptical of any kind of psychic or any. I mean, I believe that it's possible, but I also believe it's like you take it with a grain of salt.
Have you ever had someone approach you who was like, "I just have to tell you this," and then they like say something psychic to you? Does that ever happen?
Everywhere
to you
I
at
go.
all?
Are you kidding me? The people, because I tour the country and I do live shows and stuff, and so I'll have people all the time that more so than anything. I have people that are like, "I'm a psychic," and then I'm like, okay. And then like I feel bad. My belief is that if I've ever made you laugh, then I just did my job for you. If I made you laugh socially, then you owe me a freebie because that's my job. So if you're massage therapist, I get 5 minutes. Come on, let's go. I just made you laugh. I've had probably, I truly think I've had well over 100 psychic readings in my lifetime, from
wow.
the fanciest very expensive whatever types and television psychics to like storefront psychics. I've been to a billion.
Have you ever been to one where you were like, oh, this is the real deal?
I think that there's people that are definitely like pretty good. Like their percentage of how many times they're right can be better than others. But I don't believe that any psychic is always going to be right. If they were, then we would treat them like they were our god or something because they know all the answers to everything. Right. So I just don't think that any of them are 100% right.
I wonder if they were more accurate in the ancient world, because I feel like if they were wrong too many times in a row, they would just like kill them or something, you know? So then
yeah, I mean, it's a thing that's been around for a very long time. At least, you know, I don't know if the Oracle of SIWA or whoever was like charging people, but you know, people were charging. There was prostitution at this time period, so I don't know if there was also people that were like, pay me and I'll tell you your future. Like, I'm not sure. But I think it's been around a long time and there's been ways of faking it for a long time and reading people without it necessarily being a psychic thing. Like, I'm a little bit psychic. I've been picking up this whole time that both of you had a grandma.
Oh my God, how did you know?
Am I right?
What? That's crazy.
We have to end this interview now. That was too spot on. I am now freaked out.
Yeah, I can't. That's too crazy. That's so invasive of you to look into our lives like that.
I'm sorry. I just have the skill.
Haunties, we are so excited because we usually would have an ad break here, but instead we're doing a promo swap with another very spooky podcast. If you're hungry for more deep dives into the strange, we highly recommend you check out the Belief Hole podcast.
Every other week, the brothers of the Belief Hole present the strangest true stories with corroborating research and immersive storytelling.
From documented cases of near invisible sky creatures that float hidden in the world just above us, to sinister mimicking entities that impersonate familiar voices to lure you into the dark. The Belief Hole is a veritable grab bag of research into the truly bizarre.
Whether you're hungry for news stories of scarcely heard of hauntings, unsettling encounters with roadside dogmen, or deep dives into cases of psychic government projects, they've got you covered. So join us in listening to the Belief Hole podcast, available on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you in the hole. I'm almost like scared to tell you guys the next thing because it's pretty out there. Have you guys ever heard
out
that?
there.
You like out there? Have you ever heard that UFOs actually aided Alexander the Great during his military campaigns?
Work.
I have not heard that before, but I love the aliens and I want to believe that because first of all, I definitely believe in aliens, which I know everyone that listens to our show already knows. And I just think that they're awesome. And I don't know why they won't talk to me. And I don't know why they won't come on our show and give us an interview. But if they're out there listening, we love you guys. We think you're great. So I believe it.
Okay, so this is crazy. So apparently in 329 BC, his army was crossing this river to get into India, and his soldiers saw, quote, 2 silver shields that were flying in the sky, like down towards them. And the soldiers were actually afraid of these flying shields because they were like, what is this? What is this that is coming towards us? Because there was nothing that could fly in ancient times. So they were like, is this a new weapon? Is this like a cannon? You know, that has wings on it. Like what is going on? How is the shield flying towards us? Some people believe that this was UFOs aiding Alexander the Great because perhaps the aliens were doing recon or they were warning Alexander about the areas that he was headed towards. Now, that's kind of crazy.
Or he was just like, so hot that even the aliens were like, who is that? We're going to come down.
Or maybe rather than being, oh, you're so sexy, please don't die. Yeah, Or is it possible that rather than being half god, he was half alien? He was an alien human hybrid, and his dad was flying down with his extended family to be like, look, that's my son guiding troops into battle. I'm so proud.
Oh, that's cute. I like that version.
Do you guys think like a god / alien man would have like, I don't know, like what do you think it would be like sex with them would be like a sex
I
with
think
a
it would
god?
be out of this world.
Literally. Yeah, but is that good, or is it like you would be suffocating because space is a vacuum? Like, I need to be painted this picture more accurately.
Listen, I'm down to find out. If there are any aliens listening, beam me up, babes. I'm single.
I think it depends what kind of alien it is, because the gray aliens don't have any genitalia. Not that you need genitalia to have fun sex, but I just feel like, I don't know. I don't think of the gray aliens as like appealing in any way, shape, or form. They're just kind of there.
They don't have the kind that we're used to. I'm sure they got something. There got to be some way that they're procreating. Yeah, I know they got those long, freaky fingers. They can do something with those.
They're into
We know
probing.
they like to probe. Yeah, exactly. So, we know that they like using foreign objects. So it's possible, but I just don't think, I don't know. They look kind of slimy.
Don't kink shame them, anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Do not. Yeah,
don't.
I don't know. I don't know if they would like receive pleasure from sex, because I feel like maybe that's a very human thing, because we're kind of like pleasure seeking animals, right? So that maybe that's a way to get us to procreate, is like biologically nature might have some sort of fail safe of like, well, if they want to fuck, they're more likely to procreate, you know? Maybe aliens have evolved past that. Maybe they just like don't think so. Maybe they don't live so physically, you know? Maybe they just like think it, like they're like telepathically put a seed in someone or something.
Well, again, they haven't met me yet. Okay? Take me up there. I'll show y'all a good time.
Okay, so that was not the last time that the flying shields came. The second time was during Alexander's siege of Tyre in 322 BCE. These quote-unquote flying shields that were in a triangular shape showed up at Alexander's war, whatever he was doing. They showed up to the war, and I guess Alexander had been trying to break through these like city walls, and it had been months of siege. Like they were shooting them with all of their best artillery, and nothing was happening to the walls. And then the flying shields sent out powerful beams of light that weakened the city walls and put holes in them. And then Alexander's soldiers marched through the gaps in the wall and took the city. And then after the city fell, the flying things, the shields or whatever they were, they just left.
This points towards it being his dad. I really feel this points towards some sort of familial connection, because why else would the aliens agree to help if they're just tourists like coming down from the mothership to look around, or they see I guess never say never, but I just really want to believe that it was his parents or relatives, because that would make more sense.
Snake lady fucked an alien.
For sure.
So the people that believe in this flying shields UFO connection or whatever, they theorize that perhaps the aliens saw Alexander as like an evolutionary catalyst. They were like, Alexander is this single individual whose empire could accelerate human development by fusing cultures across all these different continents. So they were like, you know, he's bringing together Greek philosophy, Egyptian science, Persian administration, Indian spiritual traditions. Maybe Alexander was part of like a controlled study that the aliens were doing on how fast political and cultural shifts could change humanity on a global scale.
Wow.
I know. Seems like pretty intense. Like, seems like that's real. I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Then there's another theory that maybe the aliens didn't care about Alexander as a person, but they cared about the territories that he was marching through. And his campaigns just so happened to sweep across these regions that were full of rare minerals and mountain ranges and desert crossings. And these were all geographical features that maybe to humans were just obstacles, but to interstellar civilization, it might have been like a cosmic gas station because they need all these elements necessary for advanced propulsion or like wormhole navigation. So perhaps Alexander's like endless drive to quote unquote go further wasn't just human ambition. It was like nudging from outside forces that needed him to unlock certain locations.
Well, I always feel like they are our neighbors, and they're kind of that neighbor where you're like, are you going to mow your lawn? Like, I don't want to look at your nasty ass yard, clean up that shit in your yard. Like, that's why I think that they visit more frequently these days, because the world, I think it used to be so much more beautiful to them. And now they're like, what is going on down there? And I think they've always been that way. They're like, don't be fucking with your natural shit here. Like, we like it looking pretty. They're like a homeowners association.
A cosmic HOA, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, you guys are trash. You have no style, and we need to get a hold of this, perhaps.
Yeah, your roof is the wrong color. Your trash can hasn't been brought in from the curb in several weeks. We're going to start ticketing you if you don't shape up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or stick things up your butt.
Don't threaten him with a good time. He was bi. He would have been into that. He was Greek. Like, they liked it. So maybe that would have been like a plus for Alexander. So the strangest angle is that some of the people who believe the aliens were helping Alexander think that maybe the aliens were editing history. So they were bending the timeline, and they were using Alexander as their chosen agent because of these like impossible odds that he was overcoming, storming not enterable places, crossing deserts where people should have like all passed away, but they had somehow made it, defeating armies that were way bigger than his army. Perhaps these were all things where the aliens were intervening to tilt reality in Alexander's favor because they wanted, like, through the butterfly effect. I don't know. Something.
I mean, I think all that stuff is fun, but that's where you start losing me when people start getting into this, like, maybe the time, maybe they changed the whole course of time and we didn't.
Right.
Honey, I think the world has just been happening this whole time, and sometimes it was weirder than others.
Would you ever go back in time to alter anything, like if you had the choice, or would you just leave stuff like because you're not trying to fuck with,
I never want to go back in time because I'm a really picky eater, and I don't really like I'm pretty like vegan-y, and I just picture everything being like, this is, you go back then, it's probably like, here's a goat with like milk and like, what would I eat? Where are they growing vegetables? I'm just not, it would be hard for me. So I'd probably rather just stay here.
Yeah. Yeah, Aly is vegan, and I'm wondering too, Aly, would you go back in time to change things? Even though you're vegan?
It depends on the parameters of the experiment. Like, what is it just that I can click my heels 3 times like Dorothy and go anywhere in the world at any time period, and I get to choose, and it like has that specificity?
Right.
Or is it that I don't get to choose where I go, or I have to stay exactly where I am right now, going back in time a million years? Well, what if what is here right now used to be an ocean and now I'm dead? So I don't know. I think it just depends on, the specificity of it. I could go back in time for a few hours and just look around, kind of like these metal shields you're talking about. Maybe they were just going back in time or visiting another planet or civilization just to see what was up. and there's no real danger to them because they just zoomed around and shot down a wall and then left. So if I could do that, yes, I would love to see what was going on in different time periods. Or if I could be invisible, then 100%. Invisible and the power of flight and the power of...
Well, now you're asking for a lot here, lady.
It's true, but I want it all. I want it all.
Wouldn't go back in time? It's like, and I'm going to be hot, and I'm going to be taller, and I'm going to be rich. Like, I would do it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. But more than anything, I would just like to go back in time a few days before the lottery numbers, the winning lottery numbers are chosen, and pick them and then come back and win. That's really, I'm a simple woman. That's all I want.
Mm-hmm. That's respectable. That's like, you know, a normal thing to say. So that's good. You're not
That's
like a serial killer or something. But I feel like if you were like a serial killer or a sociopath, you probably wouldn't reveal that. You wouldn't be like, well, I would actually go back and tear off someone's skin on a Friday afternoon when the sun was setting over the ocean, you know?
That's true. I would not reveal that. I'll save that for much later when it's far too late.
Okay, so essentially there were like all of these stories where people blew him up to be this, you know, greater than human force because he had all of these epic battles and he was able to do so much. It kind of seemed like dumb luck where people were like, there's no way, you know, like Roz said, people live to be 14 and a half. Like, how is this guy just surviving all this crazy shit he's doing? So they just assumed he was either supernatural or had help from aliens. But eventually he proved his mortality because in June of 323 BCE, Alexander the Great died in Babylon when he was only 32 years old. And nobody knows exactly why he died. Theories range from that he was just like super depressed because he had conquered everything, and it was kind of like that thing where you get everything you want and then you just sort of give up. Other people thought maybe he had like a curse or some sort of dark sorcery took him out because of, you know, how many people he was like fucking with, because he was doing crazy amounts of military campaign. You got to piss off some people. And he was going through all of these lands where people believed in magic and they believed in powers. So maybe he pissed off the wrong amount of people. Maybe that snake in the cave was like, fuck this guy. I'm going to, you know, convene with the gods and take him out. But I think the creepiest theory is that he might have had Guillain-Barré syndrome. Is that how you say that? GBS?
What is that?
So I don't exactly know what it is, but I guess when he died, his body didn't decompose at first. And so some of the symptoms of Julian, I don't exactly know how to say it, but GBS, it's like an autoimmune disorder, and it can make you paralyzed, like progressive paralysis in your body, to where eventually you might be unable to move even though you're fully conscious. And so some people think maybe he had GBS and maybe he just appeared to be dead, but he was really alive, and he was unable to do anything about it before he was entombed.
That is the most haunted of all of the theories. That sounds like a nightmare. If that were to happen to me, I would create a curse, because what do you mean you didn't investigate that I'm still breathing? Like, you didn't put a mirror in front of my mouth and see if it fogged up before entombing me and covering me in honey?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, how did people explain that away back then? You know, like, they didn't know probably that it was like a health condition. They're probably just like, oh my God, he never decomposed for all this time. It's like, yeah, bitch, I'm alive this whole time. That's why I'm not decomposing.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Yeah,
Must have been magic.
I guess his last words, or like his deathbed wishes, were that he wanted his coffin to be carried by doctors. He wanted his accumulated wealth to be scattered along his funeral procession. And he wanted his hands to hang outside the coffin. And I guess those three choices were meant to symbolize that, like, even doctors can't save your life if death comes for you. It's like there's limitations with medicine. And he wanted all of his belongings spread out to show you that, like, it doesn't matter what you had in life and death, we're all the same. Wealth is futile. And he wanted his hands hanging out of the casket to show that everyone, dies empty-handed. So even though he was elevated to godlike status and was super, super wealthy and accomplished, he, as his last wishes, wanted all of those things to sort of be eradicated for people to see that, when it's time for us to go, we all go the same.
That's such a rich person mentality, though. It's never like the people that are the wealthiest and live the cushiest lives are always like, we're all the same, man. I had the same opportunities as you. Oh, look, at the end of the day, we all die alone. Like, so actually, you should still like me, even though I did not share my wealth with you and I came and conquered your lands and didn't really help out.
Yeah. Yeah, even though my mom was a hot magic snake charmer who fucked the king, we all have the same opportunities.
Yeah.
This is just your typical Nepo baby story.
It really is.
I also wonder, though, because there were so many people that were jealous of him, and some people even think that maybe he was poisoned, maybe he didn't say any of that, right? Like, maybe he was just like, no, just give me a fucking normal funeral, make a bronze statue of me, have everyone come out and cry, and then the person was like, no, actually, he wants to be carried by doctors and have his riches scattered to everybody. And
I mean, I have a hard time believing that because his name was Alexander the Great. And I bet you this guy, he probably came up with that name himself. I'm not buying it. I think that this guy always had everything he wanted. He was so hot. And he's like, yeah, I'm so great. I'm Alexander the Great. There's probably another Alexander in his class growing up. And he's probably, I'm the Great. You're just Alexander.
Yeah.
Right, and instead of being like, oh, I'm Alexander S, and that's Alexander M, he was like, I'm Alexander the Great, and that's just Alexander. Yeah.
That reminds me, in college, there was another girl whose name was Alyssa. My full name is Alyssa. And I go by Aly, but back in the day, we both had the same name. And she tried to get people to call me the other Alyssa if we were together at the same time. And luckily, it never caught on. But I just remember thinking, who the fuck are you? That's real bold to think that I would be the other Alyssa. Come on, bitch.
Was she hot? I need to know more about her.
I don't know. She had a dog. That's all I really remember is she had a dog, and I
forget you're the straightest person alive. I forget about that. It's Roz, one time it was very humiliating. One time I was really drunk and Aly was drunk too. This was a long time ago. And I was like, do you want to make out? And she was just like, no. And got up and walked away. And I was like, all right. Okay, I guess that, we know.
But if you're going to be rejected, it needs to be by, I feel like it's only humiliating if I was like, oh, no, not you, but I'll make out with this other girl. At least it was just across the board,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I refuse to believe
both sides.
that I could be turned down. That couldn't be what it was, It's just that you're very straight. Now we're moving on. I guess his tomb went fucking missing because he was buried in Alexandria and everyone, he was the fucking Eiffel Tower there. People went to Alexandria to see Alexander the Great's tomb. People thought that they could get secret powers from him. People were super into Alexander the Great, and the whole city thought that they had some sort of mythical power from his body being there, and they were very proud of him being there. And then his body, I guess it was first interred in Memphis in Egypt, and then they moved him to Alexandria, and then somewhere along the way, earthquakes and rising sea levels and plagues or sieges just made his tomb get lost.
Oh.
and now we don't know where it is. And there's all these shows on like the Travel Channel and like Nat Geo, like YouTube and stuff, where archaeologists are like digging and they never find it. You watch like an hour and 45 minutes of like,
oh god,
yeah, people like
it's
looking
like
at
Bigfoot
maps.
shows.
Exactly.
I'm such a sucker for those kinds
How
of
many
shows.
seasons of these Bigfoot shows never once even got close?
We can do, come on, 20 more seasons. Give it to me. Just inject it straight into my veins. That is so interesting, though, that they still don't know where it is, because we need Nick Cage on the case. We need somebody who can peel off the Declaration of Independence, look at the back, and be like, yes, through this series of clues, I am going to uncover the tomb of Alexander the Great. I love mysteries. I love when things are unsolved, even if there's a logical explanation, like, well, probably it's just that wherever he was buried got raided by tomb raiders or by the next group of people to come in and take over. I don't really care about that. I love when there is something that we don't have the answer to. It makes it so much more fun to me.
Yeah, because if we did have the answer, I always feel that way with paranormal. Like, well, what the hell would we be talking about? Like,
Yeah.
we're just obsessed with, these people from another planet. Like, now we're just being creeps. But if we're like, oh, are they real or not? It's so much more fun.
Exactly.
Well, does that mean that, like, if we did find Bigfoot or discovered the paranormal, like, if we proved that it's real, would we three lose our jobs? Because, like, people
Absolutely.
wouldn't give a fuck?
Do not figure it out, people.
Okay, yes, but also there's a chance that we wouldn't, because you can always pivot into the realm of conspiracy theories, which is just
God.
the modern, like, the now accepted narrative is actually another layer of a lie to keep us from finding out.
They want you to
Yeah,
believe.
exactly. So you can always grift in a different direction, I think, which is really a great thing about being a human and not an alien, is that we have no scruples. So we can choose what we want to promote.
I mean,
Suppose.
grift is a great word. Like, was Alexander just a grifter, or was he, a god? Or, like, was he a charismatic leader? What was his deal? Because a lot of people think that his tomb didn't only have lost treasures and, like, gold and jewels or whatever in it. Some people think there could also be alien artifacts in there that were left with him because of the
Yes.
UFO connection. And some people who believe in, like, the time travel connection that Roz is not a fan of think that maybe they're keeping the tomb hidden from us because we're not ready to uncover whatever's in there.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, I'm ready. I'll find it. Get me out there. If someone wants to fly me out there, give me a week. I will find it. I can find
believe in you.
anyone on Google. Like, I'm that person. You tell me 2 details about someone, I'll find you their high school yearbook.
But Roz, are you one of those people who, like, could get dusty with, like, fucking little shovels and paintbrushes, like how they, like, dust the sand and stuff away? Like, do
Oh my
you
God, that's
go in the sun?
literally how I do my makeup. Is like, baking on my face and then, like, brushing it away. I always feel like an archaeologist doing all that about fossils. Absolutely.
That is funny. Because I don't love dust. Like, I do love horses and they live in dust.
That's so true.
But yeah,
Matt
I really
does not like dust.
I don't. I cannot stand dust.
I do really like that analogy, though, because I have never heard the archaeology analogy for doing one's makeup. And I like that because it's sort of like saying, I am a precious artifact. Like,
And you're
you must
uncovering.
be, delicate with me. I get more beautiful with each pass of my brush. There's something very poetic about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're sculpting and, like, revealing the skull underneath and revealing the beauty underneath. I love that. Okay, let's talk about the theories. Theory number 1 is that Alexander the Great was just a guy who was kind of hot and delusional. He wasn't
I go with that
distracted
one.
by sex
That's the winner.
or sleep. And I guess he just stayed locked in and on his grind. So he was probably poisoned to death, and then his tomb was just lost.
All right.
Yeah, they just
So
lost.
Roz goes with theory 1.
Okay.
What's the next one?
Theory number 2 is a little bit deeper. It's that he was a demigod. He was the son of a sorcerer, his mother, Olympias, who used magic and her access to the pantheon to help him. Basically, snakes give him power. You know, he went to India, he saw the big snake, and the snake was like, I'm going to help you out because you're like my blood relative.
The snake talked to him.
Could be. Yeah. I'm not the expert on snake language, but
Parcel tongue. Yeah, I think that is interesting. We're getting a little more a little more in my realm now, but I'm hoping theory number 3 is going to come at me with some flying shields and some aliens.
We'll get there. Okay, theory number 3 is that he had dark forces on his side. Because why else did his father die and a temple fall when he was born? And why did he go to all these oracles and terrorize them? Why didn't he kill the giant snake in India? It's because he was under the control of dark forces. Because, I mean, he was not he was a great guy, I guess. It depends on how you define great. He killed a lot of people. He went and, like, fucked a lot of shit up. There were places that were doing just fine, and he went over there and killed anyone who wouldn't listen to him. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but then let me put on my fedora for a second. Is calling somebody evil absolving humanity of its very real decisions to be horrible people? Because it's like, well, no, of course he was evil because he had no choice but to be evil because his mom fucked a snake, and so he's just an evil guy. It's not that he was a regular human making bad decisions, it's that he didn't have a choice. Doesn't that like take the agency away?
Oh my god, I can't with the Reddit. It's just
okay. All right, removing my fedora, tell me about the aliens.
Okay. The next one is that UFOs helped him further mankind. Perhaps he was an early Illuminati puppet. His tomb is known but hidden to keep those secrets safe. Now, I can't figure out why the secrets would be in his tomb. Like, I feel like if you have alien technology and like Illuminati shit, you wouldn't be like, okay, let's put a tomb in underneath Egypt's one of the most biggest cities in the world that's super busy. Let's like just put all our information in there. Like, wouldn't it be like on a fucking floppy disk or like in the new technology that aliens have that we don't even know about?
Yeah. Yes, but I choose this theory. I like it. Yeah.
Now, the next one, I might need Aly to help explain it, but this is that it was the Kozarev mirrors. It was timeline stuff, time travelers, because people saw flying metal objects in space, like, overlooking on him. And, yeah, Aly, you want to explain that one?
Yeah, sure. So the TLDR is that there is this story that came out of Soviet Russia, as all good stories do, where there was a science experiment taking place. And it's not disputed that the experiment was taking place. What is disputed is whether or not it was successful. But in this experiment, they were constructing some sort of spiral mirror, and they would have people walk into the center of this spiral mirror, and they would have these same identical contraptions set up around the world. And allegedly, once people entered this meditative state in the center of this device, they could see each other across the world looking into this polished metal. And then some of them also said they saw aliens, they had visions. Yeah, and so that's fun. That's fun that this ties into a previous episode we've covered before. That, yeah. But where's the evidence that there was a Kozarev mirror? Is there like a tail?
Well, people saw the shields in the sky, and maybe it was people in a Kozarev mirror.
Observing.
Observing.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Okay, so basically this treasure is still out there if you believe in it, and maybe there's going to be alien artifacts with it. Maybe it's just, crazy technology we didn't know about. Yeah, it's somewhere out there, and I don't know. I feel like they're actually, like, real talk, getting close to finding it, because there have been a few digs that, like, claimed that they uncovered things that were related to Alexander, but then
Ooh.
they get into, like, fights with Egypt of, like, who owns what, and the dig gets stopped, and it's just, like, a lot of red tape to get through. So I don't know. Or is that part of the conspiracy of, like, oh, they found something, we gotta...
And yet they don't want you to know what's in there.
Yeah. So that's my episode, guys. Like, tell me what you think about Alexander the Great.
Yeah, love it. Thank you so much for sharing that story, Natalia. I love when there's crossover between the paranormal and history, ancient history, because it is so fun. I love the mythology of the ancient times. I love hot people, and so it's cool that this also has some hot people in it. My theory, I think, my favorite one, what I'm choosing to believe, is that he was a human alien hybrid. The snake was not a literal snake. It was some reptilian looking gray alien that came down, but nobody knew what it was. And so the word they chose for it was snake. And yeah, that's why he was able to accomplish so much in his 32 short years. And if we find his grave, perhaps he's still living and just in some sort of sleep. Yeah, like Sleeping Beauty. And maybe he's just waiting for the right person to crack open his tomb and give him a little smooch. And Roz, it could be you, because you said they haven't met me yet.
Okay, Roz, though, if you found out someone was a reptilian, would that still be on the table? Or would you be like, that's not, I don't know.
I'm not a reptile person. Again, the snakes, lizards, I don't like creepy crawlies and critters and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's for me, but
if it was a hot half man that just had a little bit of alien DNA but looked completely human.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But he sheds his skin like a snake and lives in a hole sometimes. But he's really hot.
Oh, well.
I don't know. I'm pretty open-minded. I like to think I don't have a type, but that might be one I'm not into. I'm not sure.
Okay, what if you have to spray him with water? Like, I'm saying all the stuff that snakes need, because my friend Lydia had all these snakes, so I knew. Okay,
here's the thing:
normal,
if he ate frozen skinned mice, no.
Okay,
that's where I draw the line.
Okay, so no mice, but the spraying with the water is fine. What if he sleeps under like a heat lamp? Like he's like super hot, everything's normal, everything's fine. He can like drive a car and stuff.
Nice.
But he sleeps
that does sound
under.
Nice.
But if the lamp goes out, he might die or like
That's
get
fine.
So stiff that he can't move anymore.
That's fine with me.
Oh, wow. What's your favorite theory, Roz, from this episode?
I mean, I love to have fun. But I also, I don't know, I just think especially these ancient times, it's so much hearsay. It's so much somebody decided this was the story one day and it just passed on and passed on. It's a game of telephone and it all changes, over time. So I'm sure he was just some regular old hot Nepo baby and narcissist, and there was so many things that were unexplainable back then that they're like, it must be the magic, it must be the oracle, it must be the snake monster.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
What about the shields flying above the war zone?
It could be. Why not? If we're going to believe there's aliens, why wouldn't they have been around back then? So I think it's certainly possible. There's definitely hieroglyphics and different things that would suggest that there were these UFOs. So, but that to me is like, at this point in time, it has become fact that there are unidentified flying objects in the sky. So I don't even know if that is part of the theories or whatever. It's like, yeah, maybe that was just a thing that happened as well. But all the magical thinking stuff, I'm kind of just like, I don't know. It's wonderful, fun storytelling, but I don't know if it really happened.
What do you think, like, the UAPs and, like, the UFOs and stuff that they're seeing in modern times now, what do you think those are?
I think they're aliens.
Really?
I don't know
too.
where they're from. I don't know if they're from the ocean. I don't know if they're from other planets. I really don't know. But I'm a firm believer in aliens being a good thing overall. I think there's so many different types. It's hard to generalize, but I think ultimately they're super smart and they have the ability to do crazy shit to us, and they don't seem to do it. So I think that they pretty much come in peace. They clearly have incredible technology where they can go above us and probably just take us out if they wanted, but they haven't. So I think they're good.
Now, here's an idea. What if Alexander was seeing these UFOs all the time, because they've always been here all throughout history? So when he was going to battle, he was like, let's do some psychological warfare, and had one of his soldiers go stand on top of a mountain and just throw like the lids of trash cans down at where they were battling.
And I'm
it
sure
out.
these people are like, oh my God, it's a being from another planet.
Exactly.
These people were dumb.
Roz, would you like to do our sign-off? Our sign-off that we do every single week is the exact same formula. You just channel your early 2000s AIM days and say, BRB, gotta go. And then you have a callback to something we talked about previously in the episode. So, Nat, would you like to give an example?
Sure, you could say, oh, BRB, gotta go feed my snake boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
And then we all say, bye.
Okay. Well, I BRB, gotta go back to the very, very, very beginning of the podcast where you introduced me so graciously to go do my new podcast called Tickled to Death, which is a comedy game show about horror movies, and it's real silly and fun, and it's available everywhere you get podcasts. So that's what I'm gonna go do.
Love that.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, it's Nat. Welcome to the closing credits for episode 238, Alexander the Great, Demi-God's Ass. Just kidding, I don't know what I'm going to call this title yet. But we want to take a moment to thank our donors for the month of August 2025, letters L through Q. If you would like to become a Patreon donor and hear your name shouted out in a future episode, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/c/letsgethaunted, where you're not only going to get a shout out, but you can also get access to episode extras, minisodes, personal hauntings, live streams, shit talk, the personal chat. You guys, we've got a group chat on tier 2, and it's actually pretty lit. It's basically just me asking for advice and wanting people to validate me, like, hey, should I get tattoos all over my hands? Please say yes. So if you want to get in on that, you guys head over to patreon.com/c/letsgethaunted or open up those show notes. There's going to be more info in there. Don't forget to stay tuned until the very end of this recording so you can get the secret password. This week, we'd like to thank Lacey M, Laura the Lauren, Lauren B, Lauren B, Lori, Ittybug979, Leah R 1991, Leanna BC, Lena, Lex L, Lexitronic, Lil Dilda, Lily B, Lindsay S, Lisa B, Lisa H, Lisa ML, Lisa R, Liz K, Luxury Guinea Pigs, Mad N, Madeline, Maddie P, Madison E, Mads, Maggie, Bo Baggy, Maja L, McKenna P, Mandy Manny, Maria O, Mariana Cosplays, Maricela A, Marina W, Mario A, Maris G, Marissa G, Maris G, Marquez C, Marty F, Mateo NL, Matthew L, Matthew M, Maddie J, Max M, Mason G, Meg R, Mega Lantern, Megan M, Megan N, Mega Red, Megan D, Melissa B, Melissa G, Melissa H, Mellow Mellow 82, Mercy DM, Metal Pineapple, Miami Cat Mom, Michael B, Michael M, Michael S, Michael T, Mikey BDX7, Minnie W, Molly, Monica H, Monica R, Morgan D, Mother of Frogs, Mumble, My Unicorn Farts, Rainbow, aka Jose P, Naomi, Naomi RH, Nat's Nut Button, oh hey, Natalie C, Natalie G, Natasha M, Nicholas M, Nikki S, Nicole A, Nicole L, Nicole S, Nikki B, Nilza, Not a Cat, Olivia K, Olivia S, Oscar M, Owl Bear of Oracle, Padaka Ansani, Parker Lassie, Pascal, Patricia Militia, Paula M, Peter Barker, aka Camry G, Philip K, Phoebe, Phoebe O, Phoenix C, and Kwong L. Thank you guys so much for being our donors. We are obsessed with you. We could not do this without you. And we are constantly cooking up new ways to interact with you guys. We are hoping in this coming season that we're going to have a little bit more time to spend with you guys. Maybe some in-person meetups, maybe some live shows. I don't know. A girl can dream, right? Anyways, I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, guys. We really, really, really could not do this without you, and we're obsessed with you. Now it's time for the secret password. You're going to comment this secret password on the Instagram photo dump to be entered into another secret raffle. Oh my God, we're just full of secrets. The secret password for this episode is the phrase, straight ladies with bangs. Straight ladies with bangs. One more time for the kids in the back. Straight ladies with bangs. Comment straight ladies with bangs on the photo dump for this episode at Let's Get Haunted on Instagram to be entered into a raffle. Okay, love you. Bye.